Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Today we have on another owner of the WFFL, Wanner, owner of all Batmans. We will go over last week's picks, then make our picks for Week 5. Joe is still gone. Not exactly sure where he disappeared to, but I have a feeling it's Goggler related, so here we...
Just a second, Salami. I have something I need to say. I feel Klein really did you dirty with disrespecting you during his interview, so I dove into the WFFL laws, bylaws, and official rules and found Klein violated Section 14, Article 1 under WFFL Conduct Expectations segment. Here you'll see it clearly states under Section 14, Hall of Fame Inductee Protection Clause, Article 1, protection from defamation. Retired WFFL owners who have been inducted into the WFL Hall of Fame shall be immune from any form of smack talk, public ridicule, or defamation of character.
Really? I didn't know that even existed. Where did you find it? Who made it and when?
Well, my good friend, I went to the Wishack Public Library and asked if they were aware of any such books. The librarian there, wonderful lady, by the way, said she knew of one copy. On the page after the table of contents, it says it was written by Francis Materi in June of 1995. But here's the best part, Salami. It says here under Section 14, I told you about Article 1 already, but Article 3 states the inductee has the authority to determine the punishment if the defendant is guilty. Here, listen. In the event that a living WFFL Hall of Fame inductee is the subject of an infraction under this clause, said inductee shall have the right to determine the appropriate punishment for the offender, per offender. Such punishment is within reason and proportional to the violation. The lead manager shall ensure that the punishment is carried out in accordance with the inductee's decision and retains the authority to intervene if the proposed punishment is deemed excessive or inconsistent with league standards. So what I would like to propose is we inform Goggler of the infraction and have this settled in the WFFL court system.
I really don't think that's necessary, Donald. I mean, he was just trash talking. No worries.
Yeah, well, I already sent the paperwork in, so yeah.
Okay, then. I guess we'll see where this goes, but now that you say it, I would have a perfect punishment in mind. But let's move on. I think we'll start with last week's results. Lebron, you want to give us those?
Well, Salami, yes, I will give the results, but before I do, I just want to say I feel there are certain teams that are unconsciously opposing my benevolence. Therefore, they're losing their weekly matchups. Just saying, Wanner, Ruffsvold, Doan, maybe open your minds and you will be rewarded. With that being said, Mustangs pooped on deep threats. Houday and the Blowfish beat all Batmans by like 38 points. Tight Fit tore Ruffsvold apart like pillow biting type stuff. Trifling bitches embraced my spirit and came up with the W over 23. And Dark Bittner came back from behind to beat KPP.
Yeah, and again, Donald goes 5-0 and wins the week for a third time. Great.
Yes, I did, which brings my winnings to $800. I mean, it's like taking candy from a baby, which I don't do, but I know my golfing buddy Joe Biden does, along with sniffing little girls' hair and caressing unsuspecting people's skin. Super weird that one is.
Yuck. Okay, so here's the current pick records. Remember, Taylor and Joe are sharing their records since we're not sure where Joe went or when he'll be back. As you can see, I'm in last. Not sure how. Donald doing well, and LeBron and Joe/Taylor are above 500 as well. So, yeah. Ugh. Let's move to Week 5 picks and see how these owners can screw my picks up and subsequently screw themselves as well. Matchup 1. Dark Bittner taking on Tight Fit. Honestly, I have to take Tight Fit. All he's done is wreck one opponent after another. And although I'd like to see Bittner win, he won't.
Well, Salami, you know I like Bittner, but I also know Tight Fit is a wrecking ball. So out of respect for Bittner, I did the math on this one. And if you apply some simple trigonometry, it's clear. We take Tight Fit's projected points. Let's call that the adjacent side of our fantasy triangle. Divide that by Dark Bittner's probability of winning, which is looking like the angle of desperation here. What do we get? A clean tangent that shows Tight Fit is mathematically poised for a win. You can't argue with sine and cosine when the fantasy gods are this clear.
I'm going to be honest with you, Donald. Your math is crazy over my head, and I thought it was all just bullshit, but clearly it's working for you. How about you, LeBron? Also, I like what you've done with your corner of the studio. Looks expensive and religious.
Thank you, Salami. It is in honor of Tirumala Krishnamacharya. And if Bittner wants to win this week, he needs to open his Anahata chakra, and I will send him the most optimal lineup telepathically so he can beat this Titan they call Tight Fit. So I guess I'm saying I'm taking Dark Bittner.
I mean, let's be honest here, boys. Bittner has too many bye-week players to replace week against the top team in the league, so I will take tight fit too. Thanks.
Okay, so we can move on to the second matchup of the week. Klein's Prison Pocket versus the Trifling Bitches. So it seems the Trifling Bitches have some injuries and maybe some bye weeks, but honestly, I'm on strike from taking KPP. I've been burned too many times, so yeah, I'll take Kramer's team.
Well, here's the deal, Dave. This matchup isn't one you calculate with fancy mathematical equations and algorithms. This one comes down to finances. And what I'm saying is Doan better take a hard look at ROI, which means return on investment, LeBron. You look confused. I mean, in terms of the equalizer's performance thus far, I believe he's on the hot seat. And if he doesn't win this week, he might be rummaging through garbage cans looking for his next meal. So with that being said, I'm confident the equalizer will bring home the win. I'm taking KPPPP.
First of all, Donald, that's not what ROI stands for. It means riding others' influence. And it happens when a role player gets praised because their team's superstar is doing all the work. Trust me, I would know. Anyways, I'll take the Trifling Bitches. I'm feeling a real connection with Kramer.
I guess ROI means something different for all of us, because for me, it means really overdramatic interludes. It's the emotional pause in my songs right before the killer chorus. Who knew the acronym ROI means different things to everyone? Oh, and I'll take KPP, because that team is overdramatic.
Yeah, they are. And moving on, matchup number 3, Deep Throats versus Houday and the Blowfish. I'm going to be honest, I thought by now Melmer and his team would have hit the it button, but he's still setting his lineup and playing the right guys, and I will be taking him. Houday and the Blowfish.
So all I'll say is kick Pearson, Houday all day. Oh, and again, I just want to repeat my disdain for Klein's disrespectful comments towards you, Salami. Klein, you'll be hearing from the league commissioner soon enough, and you're going to be served a hot dish of reality, seasoned with your tears of regret.
It's true, Klein. You probably will hear from the league commissioner. Mr. Tattletale did send in the proper forms for your transgression, but here's the good news. You're the underdog, and I'm picking you to win. Deep threats for me, Salami.
Holy crap, LeBron, did you just have a stroke? Da-da-da-da-da. Spit it out. Here, I'll show you. Salami, I'm taking Houday the Blowfish. See, it's simple.
Oh my God, she's a ruthless savage. I love her, Salami. I beg you, can we keep her?
She is no doubt ruthless. Maybe that's a future song title for you, Taylor. Okay, keep moving. Matchup number 4, Russ's Rumblers versus Mustangs. Although I like Ulmer and want him to win because he's not a Vikings fan like Ruffsvold, I have to take Russ's Rumblers. I'm sorry, Ulmer. Forgive me.
I also like Ulmer, but he's not going to win. I'm sorry, Ulmer. You're good people, possibly better people than Ruffsvold, but the math doesn't lie. I could show you, but you guys wouldn't understand it anyways. Have you ever heard of Bayesian inference?
God, no.
Yeah, I thought so. Just move on to LeBron.
LeBron will take Mustangs, assholes.
Good job, LeBron. You spit it out. So the Swifties and I will also take the Mustangs. We feel Ulmer and his Mustangs team has more drip than Ruffsvold.
Okay. Let's be nice to our pacifist friend, you two. Let's get to our last matchup. 23 versus all Batmans. I'm kind of nervous to take 23 because I have that interview with Wanner when we're done with our picks, but I got to go with 23. How about you, Donald?
Well, I'm kind of embarrassed for this one. I didn't have time to run this matchup through my algorithm, so I took the lazy way out and picked the team projected to win on the fantasy app. So I guess I'm taking 23. Sorry, Sheldon.
And well, unlike Donald, I am not lazy. In fact, I fasted and meditated for 72 hours straight in hopes I would have a euphoric vision telling me who would win this matchup. Unfortunately, I didn't, so I took the underdog, which is Wanner and his team, all Batmans.
I think this would be easier for me if Gogler's team name was 22, but whatever, I'm taking 23. They're obviously better. No, wait, my guy Travis Kelce's on all Batmans. I mean, I gotta take my man. So I guess I'm changing to all Batmans. Yikes. Just wish he got drafted to a better team.
Okay, before the interview, we're going to go out to Gaga, who's got some news. Go ahead, Gaga.
Thanks, Salami. I'm here in front of the Historical Civic Center in Vyshek, home of the infamous Sauerkraut Day. We here at the WFFL News Podcast would like to remind everyone that the 99th annual Sauerkraut Day is coming up on Wednesday, October 9th. The folks here in Vishek will be serving a free sauerkraut meal, and we strongly encourage anyone within 1,000 miles to come. It'll be my first time myself, but I'm extremely excited to get me some wieners and kraut. Back to you, Salami.
Excellent. And yeah, I love me some sauerkraut day. So let's get to the interview with All Batman's owner, Sheldon Wanner. Welcome to the show.
All right, awesome. Glad to be on the show.
Oh, don't sound so excited, bud. Calm down.
So I asked Klein last week about this bet that the Eagles won't win 8 games this season. And aside from him being confident they won't win 8 games, he had some harsh words and accusations about Philadelphia Eagles fans. So since you are in fact an Eagles fan, do you have anything you'd like to say in response to his chastisement of Philly?
Yeah, I want to first say, if you're at a game in Philly and someone tosses you a $14 beer, that's a random act of kindness. If you choose not to raise your hands and decide to catch that beer with your face, that's a bad business decision on your parts and kind of disrespectful to the Eagle fans. But Eagles aren't doing very well, kind of a crappy football team this year. I think it come down to week 16 or 17. Win or lose, it'll be fun listening to Klein run his yap mouth all season long. Just hate that this money could be coming from his mom, possibly, you know?
So my next question is, I suppose a question within a question. Do you think there's something psychologically wrong with Vikings fans? I mean, we have to put up with them constantly sending pictures of them hoisting the Lombardi trophy in the group chat. And this happens year after year. But we all know how the past seasons have ended for them, in extreme disappointment. Do you feel this year will be the same for them, or do you think they'll actually make it to the Super Bowl?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. We need to start preparing. Prepare for all the Lombardi picks that we're going to keep on getting, the whining about missed calls, and how great the U.S. Bank Stadium is. U.S. Bank Stadium is kind of great. That's where the Eagles did win their Super Bowl, so it is kind of special. But with the Niners banged up and the Rams kind of banged up too, I think it comes down to Detroit or Minnesota. If Goff plays well, I think it's Detroit, but it's close. And if the Vikings fail this time, I don't know how these guys are going to handle it. We'll need to get 100 feet of that husband stitch from Pinkies or wherever you can buy that stuff, maybe Jay's gift shop.
So I've been to U.S. Bank Stadium, and I'll admit it's a beautiful facility. But I guess I never looked for a trophy room for all the Lombardi trophies they foresee in their future. Did you come across any room in the stadium when you were there?
You know, I searched, and I think they built the stadium without a trophy room. Not really sure if it was a design flaw or if it was a Green Bay contractor that felt it wasn't really a necessary option. Maybe they just decided to make it into a nursing station or something like that, but definitely not there. Kind of plays to their advantage because you get more of an echo. It makes the stadium louder. You know, if you're from Green Bay, they have all those trophies. It just makes it a lot quieter in the stadium, so maybe that was their goal.
Hey, Warner, Donald John Trump here. I have a question for you. In the event of a zombie apocalypse, which other owner would you choose to battle the waves of zombie boogeymen? And do you feel they would help you survive? Or just become zombie fodder?
Well, it's another great question there. And I'd like to say Phil, because I think he's probably done the most research on zombie apocalypses. But thinking again, he'd probably pair up with Rogan, and I'd be used as zombie bait. Phil's also the only one I couldn't outrun in this group. Maybe Kramer, but he'd be much too busy mowing or trying to collect fees from the zombies running on the course. I don't know if Russell's status as the 80s greatest bachelor helps much, so I'd probably go with Klein, thinking that the zombies aren't really going to want him. I mean, zombies must have some standards too. Okay,
Warner, let's wrap this up. But before we go, is there anything you'd like to say to the other owners in the league or any wisdom you'd like to impart on them?
Well, that was kind of interesting. Somebody told me what the U.S. and U.S. Bank stood for. You know what it stands for?
My assumption would be United States. Am I wrong?
Unlimited sorrow.
Well, I guess that does track with the past of the Minnesota Vikings history. Thanks for taking time to come on the show to talk with us and give us the other side of Klein's crazy ranting. And with that, we're done here. Cue the music, Stewie. Good luck this week, everyone, and let's go!